Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sioux's only local, regional, and national sports show. You're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.puppy.com, or through the Scott Neeson YouTube channel. It may have also been directed through one of our social media platforms, Facebook and or Instagram, at The Game Sports Show or at The Game Sports Show SSM, respectively. Either way, we're very happy that you're able to join us here tonight for February the 6th, 2019, here live at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, named the Sioux's best sports bar for the third year in a row, and we're here for its famous 75-cent wing nights, and it's a great crowd here as always at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and a lot of sports on the television sets here at SportsCenter here tonight. You got the Greyhounds just on in front of us, you got the Maple Leaf game on just in front of us, as well as the Leafs are taking on the Sens. Always action-packed sports atmosphere here in the Sioux's best sports bar for a third year in a row. I'm going to be here joined tonight by Justin Hykel and Jamie Antonello here on the Sports Center edition of the Game Sports Show. Here tonight we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl game that happened, Super Bowl 53. A lot of mixed reactions here at the table by yours truly and the panel, and also from what I've heard from the fans in regards to the Patriots' 13-3 win over the LA Rams. We're also going to be talking about the NBA and some news around the Toronto Raptors as well, and some reaction about the Indiana Pacers fans. Boy, were they giving it to the LA Lakers yesterday, players. We're going to get into that, and if we have time for some more bonus topics with roundtable discussions as well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the fellas here. Justin, how are you doing, sir?
Well, I survived another Patriots Super Bowl win. I'm here to talk about it, and
we're proud of you, by the way.
We'll move forward.
Jamie, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about the most exciting Super Bowl ever, so let's keep it going.
See, I love how you give a little bit of sarcasm there with the best Super Bowl. I think I will have to say that that's one of the more boring Super Bowls that I have watched, but we're going to get into that right away here. Just going to get through this usual introduction portion and get to letting the listeners know about some more future edition shows of the Game Sports Show. The board operator tonight is Scott Neeson, as always. He is actually in North Carolina currently, and he's there doing some stuff for his work. So last night's edition of the Game Sports Show, myself, Brad, and Dane were at Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill. We were joined by John Parko, the head coach of these two Thunderbirds. We had an action-packed show yesterday on a Tuesday from Icebreakers. Usually we have the show on Sunday, but we've been having it on Tuesdays these past couple weeks due to some scheduling conflicts, and obviously the Super Bowl being this past Sunday. So that show has not yet been uploaded at the time of this recording. We may have a couple of recordings that all get submitted and recorded at once if you had not had the chance to hear it live. But we're here at SportsCenter tonight, obviously. Tomorrow, myself, Justin, and Dane are going to be at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We may have a guest come on by, someone who's a big fan of the show and actually wanted to come on the show one more time. Anthony Miller, we're projecting to potentially have on the show. It hasn't been confirmed as of yet. And we do have some guest announcements we're going to be announcing at that show from Northern Superior tomorrow. Now, on Sunday, we did have a show planned to go to Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill. However, that will most likely be rescheduled due to the busy weekend in local sports, especially with the Hounds playing in London on Sunday. So we predict that that will be changed to Monday or Tuesday, most likely Tuesday, from Icebreakers. Next week, we do not have a Sports Center show next week, as we'll have the week off. So next week, we'll also not have a Wicked Sister show. So next week, it is just Icebreakers and Northern Superior Brewing Company, but we're still in this week. So you got us here tonight, as I mentioned, at Sports Center and Northern Superior Brewing Company tomorrow at 6:15. Fellas, we're going to dive right into our In the Pocket segment. We're going to dive right into it. Super Bowl 53 between the New England Patriots and the LA Rams in a 13-3 win by New England. Now, we were all here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and it was an action-packed We also had our like giveaway contest draw that you can see on our Facebook page. Congratulations again to Brian Greco, who's been a loyal listener to the Game Sports Show since the beginning days back in its Coffee with the Coach and Mr. Electric Avenue segment days before it became the Game Sports Show. So he was the winner of a $25 gift certificate from the Superior Brewing Company, 2 gift certificates to Sportscenter for pizza and wings, along with a Superior Pro Shop gift certificate and hat, and 2 Greyhound tickets. Great prize for Brian Greco to get for just liking a page. So make sure you keep tabs on our Facebook page and social media platforms and website, along with keeping your ears open on the show for contest giveaways, because our next giveaway is actually a bit more higher value than what that was. But it is a date with Dave at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Just kidding. No, it's not. It's actually a date with Jamie Antonello.
I don't know.
You don't want that?
I'm all right.
Winner pays.
Winner pays. But fellas, it was action-packed here at SportsCenter, and we were expecting a big game. I thought it was going to be an offensive game. You know, you have the Rams this year that were.
What are you talking about, Dave? They were only 40 points under the betting line.
You have the Rams, who had 54 points on the Chiefs earlier in the year in a 54-51 win. You have the New England Patriots, who
played the Chiefs, and it was 43-40 game.
Exactly. Last year in the Super Bowl, you have a 43-38.
43-38.
43-38 at the top of my head.
The AFC Chief Conference.
Yeah, like
36-30.
See,
37-31. Like,
and I will say, and I'm going to give credit here actually to Brian Greco. He mentioned one thing that when I told him that he actually won the prize, he was quite excited. But he said a few good comments that I actually wanted to say. He said that we've been spoiled lately in terms of Super Bowls. 96 was a blowout, much that we may not remember as well as Justin might remember. Sorry, Justin. 2002 was a blowout. Colts Bears was bad, right? Then you have the last few years we've just been given gold, right? That's what he mentioned. Not always going to be that amazing. He said it was a defensive game, and the year or a time in the NFL where defense are always forgotten reminds us that they are needed, and it is considered a boring Super Bowl to many, but boring compared to the shootouts we've had the week before, but it was still very well played, was what Greco said. So now if you want to go from that perspective, from what a fan and the like giveaway contest winner Brian Greco said, he actually took the words out of my mouth that I wanted to say this week, because yes, it was a very boring Super Bowl in my opinion. Okay, it was not enjoyable, it was not a shootout, but again, do you think New England gives a fuck? They do not. They were there to win the Super Bowl. They don't want to be in there to allow 30 points. They don't want to be there to have an offensive shootout with the Rams. They're not there to do that. They're there to win, and defensively, New England played well. Also, defensively, the Rams played well.
Yeah, both defenses were awesome. I mean, they were both very well prepared. Brady had a couple of bad passes early, and that kind of helped the Rams defense look a lot better, because it very easily could have been 24 points on the board for New England, like I think at least. Whereas the Rams were just a disaster the whole time. Johnny Hecker had more punts than they had completions for a while. Like 9 punts in the game. It was crazy. They had 12 drives, 9 punts, a pick, a field goal, and a missed field goal. That was their 12 drives. It's crazy.
See, myself and Dustin Gronin were betting on the game. Not that we encourage betting, but we were betting.
Bet that a kicker would make the first tackle of the game, because you would have made a lot of money on that one.
What I bet was that the Rams we bet 5 consecutive times that they were going to punt, and the payout was actually 2-1 on the side.
2-1.
So it was 2-1 to that because of how it was. I guess how often it was happening. But we ended up having $40 and making it $280. And in terms of betting, so it was just that energy is what I felt that the Rams didn't have offensively, that New England didn't really have it, and then you just felt it, in that fourth quarter. Just New England had that game. Just felt like a New England type win, Justin. It was just New England type win.
You'd seen that story a million times before. It's like the Saw movies. You know how it ends.
Somebody's gonna die.
Well, once you started to see
person's gonna make it.
Once you started to see the Patriots get in a rhythm where they could chew the clock,
Yeah.
you saw everyone on the Rams sideline kind of deflate. But I mean, I really enjoyed the game, to be honest. Was it boring to watch offensively?
It was slow.
It wasn't the most entertaining as far as what we've had so far in the playoffs, to Brian's point. But it was a defensive chess match. Like, there was Like, for a point in time in that game, I don't really think either team made it past their respective 30-yard lines. No. Like, that's...
There's a lot of, like, coaching game film from that game on how to run zone defense or how to play combo coverage, just because they had Gilmore playing man-to-man on,
a very strong game
on Cooks pretty much the whole game, and mixed in with zone. And it was honestly masterful to watch. And I'm kind of curious to see how Brian Flores does in Miami now. But... yeah, I mean, not a lot of points, and I'm an offensive guy. I'm an offensive coach, and I love putting up points, but I can appreciate the defensive side of the ball because they were shut down. Also, like Dante Hightower and Kyle Van Noy apparently saved their best for Super Bowls, which is, I mean, you look at the list of Patriots linebackers that have played their best come the conference final and the Super Bowl. They're just the next guys in the list.
See, obviously, Julian Edelman having a...
I love the Julian Edelman.
He'd well deserved.
He was the hardest worker.
There's a lot of people vying for Ryan Allen as MVP after a couple of like unbelievable punts that like landed at the one and sat, which I thought was pretty funny. But no, I thought Edelman. I just kept waiting for Edelman to get one chance near the goal line to kind of cement it. Like, you give him a touchdown, you pretty much guarantee the Super Bowl. But I mean, he was winning on routes constantly. He was getting himself. Some of that wide open was just playing really soft zone, but a significant portion of that was him breaking free or making a guy fall down on a move. So he battled, busted his ass, I think. Yeah, well-deserved.
Tom Brady gets his sixth ring. Sixth ring.
Where's the sixth one going?
It's got to be going in the middle of his hand like the Infinity Gauntlet, right? With Thanos, is he just going to get it embedded into his skin and it's just going to be powerful now? I don't know what it is. Like, the guy is literally the GOAT. Okay, like, and I'm not giving 100% credit to him, but because Belichick, you know, there's a lot of pieces to that New England team that are contributed to that win, and Edelman being the big reason why, having 147 yards, I believe, 149 yards. So I'll say right now that was obviously the big point in that game, but Tom Brady trusted his passing, trusted his receiver, and I thought the big thing with LA was going to be on the ground. I thought Gurley was going to have a bounce back game based on the game that he, you know, played previous. So he wasn't noticeably there really for me. And CJ Anderson is not what Todd Gurley is either, right? So when that running game is not there for the Rams, I think that was evident.
You want to dive into this a little bit more?
I do. And I think Justin, Jamie, want to go first?
Gurley, man. Like, that's got you. I like CJ Anderson. I think he runs hard. I think he's kind of got that like Jerome Bettis throwback thing a little bit. He's just a mini version. Shorter. He's the short bus because he's a smaller. Like, Jerome was not a tall man, but CJ's even shorter than him. I just don't think his knee's right or something. Like, I think a lot of it too is Sean McVay being, because I've been there as an OC. You get trigger happy, like a couple runs don't work early, and when you feel like you're trapped in that game and you feel like nothing's working, you're playing a good defense, nothing's working, you can't get any traction, where it's like an absolute struggle and a grind just to get a first down, you immediately go to what you're comfortable with. And clearly he's comfortable with the passing game. They have to get out of the game plan. Like, a lot of people give we're talking a lot about that Dallas playoff game. That was like perfect storm. Both running backs go for 100. You're in control. That was that game. Like, and what ended up happening in the Super Bowl is they felt like the Dallas Cowboys, unstoppable. You couldn't do anything to fight it. But I think there's got to be something wrong with Gurley, and we'll see if anything comes of it. But I think McVay's going to learn from this, because I think he's going to hopefully be there for a while. I think it would have to be catastrophic. This won't be the Rams'
first Super Bowl.
You never know, but I think this isn't going to be their first playoff run. I'll go that far. Yeah. You never know about Super Bowls. Yeah. Look at Dan Marino. Yeah. Things happen, man.
Things do.
I mean, I think just the CJ Anderson, Todd Gurley thing, I think CJ Anderson was so hot.
Right, and I get
through the playoffs, and maybe there was concern about Gurley's knee, and he was back in. But McVay, you know, he's got C.J. Anderson. He's working great. Why?
And when you're constantly in second and 15,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? If they're not going to give you the looks that you need to run Gurley, then just put Anderson in there. He's the less expensive option to get hurt.
True.
In the grand scheme of things. I mean, you'd like to think the coaching game plan wasn't going that way.
No, and I guarantee it wasn't.
And I don't think so either. It's something that's come across my mind. But what I really think the issue was there, and where the Patriots had success, game-changing success, was at the tight end position. I mean, aside from Julian Edelman, like Gronk looked like Gronk from like the season before the cover of Madden.
The playoff run, Gronk has looked awesome.
And the Rams didn't have anything. The Rams don't have a guy.
And a lot of that is kind of what because they run out of 11 personnel almost all the time. One running back, one tight end, and 3 wide.
And maybe they're missing Cooper Kupp in that aspect. But he wasn't. I don't really remember him being the guy that was going over the middle and he would do some putting himself out there. I mean, maybe you'd see that the Rams look at Jared Cook in the summertime and try to fix that aspect of their game. But I mean, personally, if I'm Sean McVay at that point in time in the game and Gurley's not working, I'm going to line him up just on the outside. Put him in a slot spot. Just at the very least, you're drawing a decent coverage guy or a linebacker over to Gurley. Like you're going to have one of your better defenders on him the entire time because you don't know.
Absolutely.
And that takes at least one guy off the rush or one guy off C.J. Anderson, or one guy off Cooks or, I don't know. I didn't see what I saw from McVay was maybe a young coach who didn't want to deviate from a game plan. Like the Rams,
I think he froze a little bit too, and he kind of got in his own head somewhat. And I think he'll get better from there. I mean, it's a big stage. It's a big moment. You never know. You're going against the big bad Patriots. It's intimidating. I mean,
to me, the Rams seem like they script a lot of their game. Like at least the first quarter of their game or the first 15 or 20 plays, I feel to me, are always scripted.
He's a very calculated dude.
They come out there. They know what they're doing. Nothing's going to flap them. They want to get these looks and see what they're dealing with. And I don't know. I don't think he was able to deviate from that this entire game. Like I think maybe he thought himself into a corner almost with this is what I'm going to do. He probably played the Super Bowl in Madden 15 times the night before. This is what I'm going to do. And when the first thing didn't work. And
I mean, to his credit, it was 3-0 until the fourth quarter. So, I mean, you're not out of that game by any means. And staying dedicated to the run is a good thing. I mean, you want to wear down a D-line. You want to wear down a front. It's just tough, though. I think you got to get to it earlier almost because every coach has their special plays or, like, their third down guarantees. They have certain ones in the burn it plays, and you can only run it once. You got to get to a point where it's like, okay, we're just going to run on 2nd and 3. I'm going to run a burn it play, and let's hope. Let's see what happens. Or even, I mean, to be fair, they weren't in 2nd and 3 very often, maybe twice the whole game. But still, you're talking about a team that had like 6 first downs or something the whole game, and 4 of them came on that nothing drive that they missed a field goal.
One stat I want to correct, Edelman had 141 yards.
Oh, sorry.
Just to be exact. But you obviously have Gronk, who had 87. Brady didn't throw a touchdown in the game. There was no touchdowns in the game in terms of throwing, passing.
Almost every pass to Gronk in that game, though, was like perfect placement, big time, needed play, third down conversion, or a play to get them into scoring position. So
Sony Michel was
clutch.
the one who got the touchdown in the end zone, right? So
yeah, you're talking a first and goal from the 1 situation, though, right? So and James Devlin did a lot of that.
They didn't throw on the 1,
which was good.
See, now that's from the New England perspective. If you want to go back, you guys were talking about the Rams there, but the Rams, Goff had 229 yards for 1 INT too. So Gurley only had 35 yards, Anderson had 22.
About the yards too much with Goff, unfortunately. I mean, because a lot of that was in junk time, so like you probably knock 80. You could probably knock
20 yards receiving in the game.
Yeah, but 60 of that was in junk time. He caught I think two big passes on that drive that accounted for nothing.
He's got Bortles numbers.
The Bortles numbers, exactly. That's good. Yeah.
Now, and there was a field goal missed by Greg
Zuerlein.
And I think he missed. He obviously got a field goal, and I think it was a 53-yarder. I think it was 53 yards is what it was, what he got. And the one that he missed was a 48 or something like that, right? So
there was 25 seconds or something left, and they were just trying to get the kickoff so that they could hope for the onside, and then you throw an out route and then throw up a Hail Mary. That's all you could hope for at that point. So they knew they had to get it, and once they missed the field goal, you knew it was over. But it's tough. I mean, it's hard.
That's how you know he plays Madden. Because that scenario was plausible. Like, that was plausible, and he was going to do it.
Now, since New England walks away with the Super Bowl win here and Brady gets his 6th, it kind of turns the attention. You got the offseason coming up. You got the combine. You got the draft. You got some free agency time. You know, coaches that where they going to end up. Where's Antonio Brown going to end up? There's a lot of news that we're going to get to here on the Game Sports Show throughout the summer, and also with local football when that gets started in the summertime. But, you know, where does the Patriots go from here? Can they bring back the same guys, and can they get back to the Super Bowl easily, or is that even a stupid question to ask?
Of course they can. Belichick and Brady are still there. They're always going to be able to fill the pieces in and around. I mean, Gronk is really the big question mark right now for their offseason, I think, whether or not he's going to retire.
WWE superstar pretty soon, or what?
Well, that's the likely thing, I think, what people are talking about him doing. But, I mean, you never know. He looked pretty fresh this whole playoffs. He may feel good. Who knows? I mean, Gronk's doing fine for himself. I don't think he's got 3 rings now, two of the Super Bowls, which he played in. I mean, that's the only thing I'm really waiting for on the Patriots offseason. Otherwise, unless Brady breaks his leg in the offseason, they're going to be fine.
I think New England is not going to be looking at any time soon that have a little bit of a minor spill by any time. I think, obviously, Brady is still looking young, like he's still in his early 30s. You know what, he I don't know if it's the potion that he drinks at home. I don't know if Giselle brings something home from there, but it doesn't seem like he's aging. It really doesn't. I think this guy could play football for another 3 years, at least.
That's what he's talked about. Go to 45. That's what he's talked about.
I mean, it's as frustrating as it is. At this point, you have to. I mean, this is painful for me to say. This hurts.
Choke it down.
But you have to respect his dedication to the game at this point. Because there's a lot of guys who have made money and just walked away 10 years earlier than, Tom Brady right now. Tom Brady
not winners, like Megatron.
Tom Brady just likes to win rings. Like, he likes rings.
He's so competitive. So unbelievably competitive. And, I mean, that's part of the reason why he's one of the greatest of all time.
If not the greatest.
I'm talking football players.
Football players, I guess.
Quarterback, he's pretty much cemented himself there at that point now. It'd be hard to argue anybody else.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of that too, though, I don't want to sound like we're giving Brady all the credit, because, I mean, as anyone who's played football knows, football's the ultimate team game. And the Patriots system has the ability to get these players to buy in. And it's
the culture.
It's not about one, that whole roster. It's not about one individual player. Is Tom Brady the face of the team? 100%. Is Rob Gronkowski a cartoon character? 100%. Every team has a louder-than-life guy, but I feel like Brady has him on a leash, and as long as he's not doing anything outside of, Tom's boundaries, they're okay with it.
Yeah.
The Patriots don't have this nonsense that other teams have. Josh Gordon got suspended again for drug stuff. Patriots put him in rehab. The end.
Yeah.
There's not. He's working at a car dealership that the Cleveland Browns owner owns. Well,
So
he's on. You know what I mean? Like, they're looking out for the better interest of the person and see if they can make him a player again. As much as I shit on the Patriots and hate the goddamn Patriots, you have to respect the model. Like, they're doing something right that the rest of the league isn't. And at the to the point of what's going to happen next year, it's up to the rest of the AFC to do something about it. Like, everyone all this season, how many times go back and listen to our shows? How many times do we say Patriots are out of it? Patriots aren't going to do it. I mean, not me mostly, 100%.
I did a couple times.
But
I actually did too.
everyone waits for that moment in the season where the Patriots are going to falter, and you get them into the playoffs, and they're going to be this, limp duck that's just primed for the picking.
I didn't think they were getting them past the first round. Or the divisional round, sorry.
Yeah, and and then all of a sudden, guess what? It's the playoffs, and the Patriots are here.
All it took me watching was a quarter of that game versus the Chargers. I was like, okay, they're winning another Super Bowl.
The Patriots are like, Johan Franzen. Like you got to get to the playoffs and then boom,
Magic.
There it is. You know what I mean? Like
We know
there's
what we're
just
doing
there's just guys. Like I don't know. It's frustrating, but as a football fan, I didn't think the game was terrible. And honestly, if the Patriots return with most of that team intact and they're healthy, I don't really see a reason why they can't replicate the success. Win a Super Bowl again? I don't know. Probably hinges on if Alabama wins again next year or not, because that seems to be holding accurate. But no, I don't know. Like it's up. Like Mahomes, Luck. Who else is there? That division, maybe. Someone's got to upset him in the division.
Yeah, you never know.
See, what I gotta say is with the Patriots, there's nothing but amazement how much of a dynasty they've been in terms of football, right? And obviously Brady, as I said from the top, is the GOAT. Now, Steve McCaig alongside Jimmy Antonello, Justin Hykel here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill in the pocket segment for Super Bowl 53 reaction. A couple more points I want to get to, and continuing with the other Super Bowl team, the Rams. You obviously have Sue going to free agency. You can't see him returning to the Rams, This is because of salary cap. No,
I can't afford him. That's the problem. I mean, I think he had his opportunity to compete for a championship. I think we'll have to see. He would have to take a massive pay cut, which I don't think he's going to do, because he knows he's going to sign probably a 3-year deal would be my guess somewhere. Just based on his age, I don't think anybody's going to sign him to something longer, but he's going to make $30 million on this contract.
You know what, though? He might not. He might.
Loves the Rams and wants to stay. He could take that pay cut. He could do the Boogie Cousins deal. Do whatever you got to pay me, whatever you got to do to get me under the cap. But who knows? Realize this too. Playing alongside Aaron Donald frees up a lot of room for you.
Yeah.
The guy's ridiculous. He's back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. Like, that stuff doesn't happen regularly. Like, you look at the guys who've gone back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year: Lawrence Taylor, J.J. Watt, now Aaron Donald. That's the last three. It's crazy.
Impressive company.
Yeah.
that's big company. 100% big company. Now, the last thing, the halftime show. First off, I want to say I had a bet. Nobody in the bar thought it was going to happen. I'm the only one that said it would. Not be me, obviously, bragging here a little bit.
Were you rooting for the shirt to come off?
That's funny that you bring that up. I actually predicted that he would take his shirt off, but no one believed that he would, and he did take his shirt off. And honestly, that's not what I enjoyed about the Super Bowl.
I have Ontario tattooed on my belly. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to pull the jersey off.
Oh, okay.
Waiting for
instead
it.
of California, it's Ontario.
Yes.
I like that. Now, Maroon 5, different performances come in, and the reaction's mixed with the Super Bowl halftime show. It's mixed. People like it. People really didn't like it. People are criticizing it. Everyone's going to do that. What's your overall reaction? I'll start with you, Justin.
I don't really have a nice thing to say about it. I mean, my stance has always been that you should maybe try to appeal. I know the NFL is trying to appeal to a vast audience with, let's appeal to the football, general audience. Let's get something that's remotely interesting. Or, I don't know. I thought Maroon 5 would maybe kind of be okay because they're
good.
They're all right. It's not Beyonce, right? So they have instruments. Chili Peppers were kind of there a few years ago. I was okay with that. That's a good thing. But what's wrong with the Foo Fighters? You know what I mean? That's a pretty. Do they not appeal? Do they not appeal to a bigger audience, like a vast audience? Is that, or am I thinking too narrow-minded in my rock mind?
I agree with you completely.
Or with these classic rock bands that are touring right now. I mean, stuff in my mind probably isn't going to fly. Whitesnake isn't going to get the Super Bowl halftime show. No one's really looking for David Coverdale these days. Aerosmith did it a few years ago, did they not?
They did it.
In my mind, Prince's was probably the best in recent memory.
Perfect, just with the rain.
That was crazy. But what's wrong with the Guns N' Roses right now, or Kiss?
Axl even move?
Kiss is on their farewell tour. what's the biggest moment in the world when Kiss is on their farewell tour?
Or like Elton John's on his farewell tour.
Yeah,
That'd
or
be awesome.
Elton John would be awesome
That'd
too.
be so good.
Or Bruce Springsteen.
You're talking about you want to appeal
You know,
to masses. Springsteen, Elton John, like those.
like,
you don't get much better than those guys.
Springsteen would be amazing. Or Metallica for me, specifically for me.
Yeah.
But actually, on satellite radio today, I did hear that there's some preliminary discussions with having AC/DC involved in next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
I like that. And I'm the singer. I'm going to sing, guys. I'm going to take up singing. What do you think?
You probably shouldn't, but no, I mean, this was just a weird halftime show for me. I mean, yeah, big boy coming out with the awesome coat, SpongeBob intro.
I like the SpongeBob.
That was pretty funny.
I was
Travis Scott,
waiting for,
sicko mode coming in.
3000.
I was too. I thought
Travis Scott, though, was
no, it's the rapper Travis Scott. I was waiting for Andre 3000 too. That would have been cool. But I mean, you knew they were going to bring an Atlanta artist. I mean, just because it's such a hotbed for music.
It
But
would have been better if it was Ludacris.
Ludacris, yeah, that would have been sweet. But
Luda. They'd be like, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It just the halftime show did nothing for me, to be honest.
It's just a big
It was,
disaster.
and it was such a letdown for me after they had the NFL 100 years commercial
That
right
commercial
before.
was
The best part.
Yeah.
That was the. Should we talk about commercials? Or are we going?
Yeah, well, that's the
That's your next. That's your next point.
thing. Yeah.
All right, I'm good at transitions.
Okay,
Dave.
you transition to that.
NFL 100 commercial was perfect. The best 2 minutes of commercials they had the whole time. Just perfectly choreographed. If you haven't seen it, it's all over social media, all over at the NFL's Twitter, Instagram, on their site, everything. It's easy to find. Perfectly choreographed, hilarious parts. Peyton Manning with the arm hurting, Pat Mahomes with the no-look pass, Odell's reenaction, Saquon jumping over dudes, Marshawn kicking the whole thing off, knocking the topper off the cake. Just so good, just absolute gold.
And obviously, we had the Avengers have their trailer come out, different trailers. Hobbs and Shaw had it if you're a Fast and the Furious fan.
That looks nuts.
It does. It does look insane.
The Rock, like, having coffee grounds as cereal in the morning, just a wild move. I loved it. I thought it was like
he posted that on Instagram.
He did.
He posted that on Instagram.
I saw it. That's
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing that didn't happen, and see, I'm not a big fan of the show. Not because I'm not a fan, because I don't like it. I mean, I'm not a fan because I'm not I'm not saying it's not a bad show, but Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
they
that was a good Bud Light ad. I liked it.
They had a good ad, but they didn't have a trailer.
No, are you kidding, man?
That's what they thought.
There's
That's
not going to be a trailer. They don't need to have a trailer. There's no reason for them to have a trailer now. We're talking 2 months out. That's going to be a magical Sunday, by the way. You guys know that because that's Masters Sunday and Game of Thrones that night. April 14th.
If it goes into here's a quick question before we go to break then, before we kind of wrap up in
The
the
Masters
pocket.
will not interfere. It's at 9 p.m.
So let's say the Masters extend somehow playoff holes.
You'd be in 27 holes. Of like, actually, you'd be a full 18 extra, I think.
Would you play? Would they switch over to Game of Thrones over the Masters?
Well,
or would they keep the
Masters
Masters on?
It's HBO. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. But I guarantee people would leave the Masters and watch Game of Thrones and start it.
Well, fun little thing, Jamie. I watched. I didn't really watch Game of Thrones. I watched the last episode of the
I know,
past
you said
season.
this to me.
Yeah.
It bothers me to this day.
I've watched 0 episodes of Game of Thrones.
So that's better to me than jumping in at like a pinnacle point.
Because once I start, I need to go start to finish. So
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'll be the first person to say I was late to Game of Thrones. And then, of all places, we were on a road trip for football, and we watched season 1 on the bus. And I was like, this is awesome. There's just sex and killing and everything everywhere. It's awesome. Dragons and stuff, man.
A
Like,
bit more exciting than the Super Bowl was.
absolutely.
basically Jamie's day-to-day life.
It was perfect.
Love it.
Dragons.
Well, we'd like to drag that on a little bit. We did that. Little listeners now know what Jamie's favorite show is. Mine's Ray Donovan, by the way, if anyone cares to know.
I really like the Amazon commercial with Harrison Ford
That was funny.
and the dog barking, ordering more dog food.
I thought that was hilarious.
That made my day.
Yeah.
Commercials are the hottest thing out of the Super Bowl, it seems.
Another one I appreciated was the Stella Artois ad. Definitely thought we were getting a Big Lebowski 2 going on, but they had the Dos Equis guy, Sarah Jessica Parker from Sex and the City, all drinking Stella. I thought it was funny. There were some solid commercials. I mean, as far as the game goes, what are you going to do? I mean, defensive masterclass is really what
talk about commercials right now on Game of Thrones. I mean,
it was a defensive masterclass. As a coach, as a tactician in the game, I really appreciated it. There was just no, like, what are you gonna say was the defining play? I guess Gronk's big catch. I mean, there wasn't like even you talk about like lower scoring Super Bowls. There's often that one
capitalizing at the first drive off the interception from Brady. For some reason, I think you got to start hot.
Would have been a lot different if it wasn't the end of a drive.
I honestly think that might have peaked emotion for them a little early.
I thought if they would have capitalized on that
they
drive,
fired up on that.
Literally, if they would have capitalized on that drive, the Rams would have won that football game. I think it just changes the whole landscape, obviously. But we're not in a what if, ands, buts kind of business. We saw what happened. Patriots win 13-3 in Super Bowl 53. Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel, Jamie Antonello at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, named the Sue's Best Sports Bar for third in a row for its famous 75-cent wing nights. If you haven't had their wings yet, or if you're not down here, you should get your asses down here because it's got some great atmosphere and food, as I mentioned, and they got the best wings and pizza in town for sure. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, myself, Justin, and Jamie, we're going to talk some basketball in terms of the Raptors, NBA in general, and if we have time, we might jump into some roundtable bonus topics. You're listening to the Twin Cities only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from our sponsors. We've got more sports talk coming your way.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Sioux Peewee Pro Shop. The Sioux Peewee Pro Shop, located inside a Community First Credit Union Sioux Peewee Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Sioux Peewee Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. a beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You listen to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or through the Scott Neeson YouTube channel, or through one of our social media platforms, Facebook and or Instagram. Steve McCaig alongside Jimmy Antonello and Justin Hykel live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, where we're here for its famous 75-cent wing nights. Great atmosphere, great food, and great staff here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. If you're not making Sportscenter Bar and Grill part of your night, you need to make it a part of your night. Not only just to come join us, but just come enjoy the great food and everything they have available here at the Sioux's Best Sports Bar, named for a third year in a row. We just concluded our In the Pocket segment. That'll be our last In the Pocket segment, at least for a week, as we have next week off here from Sports Center, as In the Pocket went from being a seasonal segment of the show to being a year-round segment of the show just recently this past year. So that was the last one in terms of the football season of the NFL. We're going to have some more NFL offseason news, though, when we come back from break with the Combine, with the draft, and then going into our local sports in terms of In the Pocket with the SaberCats, discussion with the Steelers, and the NFL offseason as well at that time. And then obviously after that's done, guess what starts back up? The NFL season right after that. So In the Pocket will be all year round. We just got next week off from it, and we're going to continue the show here tonight going into the NBA discussion, as everyone knows that, especially our faithful listeners to the show, that here on the Wednesday editions are In the Pocket segment, and we also talk basketball and our little roundtable discussion, as we'll not be jumping into any hockey discussion or any baseball or any sort of discussion. That will be on tomorrow's show from Northern Superior Brewing Company. Fellas, without further ado, we're going to continue the show talking about the NBA, as I just mentioned. And I want to start with the Toronto Raptors. Before we jump into some of the trades that have already happened, tomorrow being the trade deadline for the NBA, you expect that a lot of teams are going to be active in that. Maybe the Lakers are going to be active. Maybe the Raptors are going to be active. The 76ers were very active just yesterday, and also today making a move as well. So I will say right now that the NBA trade deadline might be one of the more exciting ones, as this offseason is going to be more of the most action-packed offseason in terms of some big names that are available. You have Kevin Durant, who's available in the offseason. Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, potentially, from the Raptors. You've got a lot of names that are potentially available there with the NBA. But we're going to jump into what the trade deadline is going to be right after we talk about the Toronto Raptors. So the Toronto Raptors, they played against those 76ers, okay? And they defeated them 119-107. Now, the Raptors obviously had a test earlier last week when they played on the 31st against the Bucks, and they lost to the Bucks 105-92 at home. But the Raptors bounced back with a 121-103 win over the Clippers, and then the win just the other night against the 76ers, 119-107, as I mentioned. They do play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow, which is on Thursday, February the 7th, in Atlanta. Then they got the Knicks after that, then the Nets. People are saying these are going to be one of the easiest games for the Raptors, but in sports, anything can happen. And speaking of anything can happen, the Raptors lose it against the Bucks. They have a tough challenge there, Jamie, against those Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I love saying that last name.
Yeah, we know.
The Raptors roster, though, I think looks stronger than the Bucks. It's just the Bucks played a little bit more of a systematic game where the Raptors didn't. And believe it or not, I think when Valanciunas returns, I think that'll be a little bit of help in the paint there for the Raptors. But Kawhi has really stepped up. Ibaka's had some big nights. So I think the Raptors still have a better team overall, but the Bucks have been playing well, and you got to give them credit.
Yeah, they're just a tough team to match up with right now, for us especially. Giannis is. There's maybe 2 or 3 guys that match up well against him across the NBA, and
Kawhi's one of them.
But still, he's just got reach and size on him, and Kawhi's one of the best defenders in the entire league. But it's tough to overcome that sometimes.
He only had 19 points that night too, Giannis, and the ball was distributed a lot. You had Chris Middleton at 18. You had DJ Wilson having 16. So you just have the ball was distributed there, and that's what the Bucks did well against the Raptors.
Yeah, which means that they were playing well when our starters were off the court, and that's when they had the advantage, and that's realistically where those 12 points came from. When you break it down, I mean, we're a team that can take advantage of that as well as any in the NBA. We're one of the deepest, but I mean, you're not going to do it every night. The big thing is, can you do it 4 times in a 7-game series? That's really what it comes down to at this point. If you get matched up with Milwaukee in the playoffs, and it's all going to come down to that. Hopefully, all of our pieces are healthy by that point, because that makes a huge difference for us. But I think we'll be all right. I'm not too worried. I mean, we're still in the race for first with them, but we got some weeks now. I mean, we just got to maintain some momentum.
Justin, after the Bucks and Raptors played against the Clippers, then obviously played against the 76ers. You know, against the Clippers, they bounced back. Kawhi getting 18 that game. You have, Pascal Siakam, who had 15, Ibaka 16, the ball getting distributed. C.J. Miles 15, DeLon Wright having 14 points. Just the ball getting passed around in that game against the Clippers to get the win there. Then obviously against the 76ers, you had the Raptors who won 119-107. As I mentioned, Kawhi Leonard had 24 points, Serge Ibaka 20, Kyle Lowry 20, Pascal Siakam 16. The ball was again being distributed around the court. Kawhi leading the way. Not lead the way for the 76ers, even though having the 18 points. Joel Embiid at 37. Big presence there for the 76ers. Now, you're going into a series right now, let's say in the Eastern, in the conference. If you're looking at the Raptors matchup against the Bucks, right now you're going to say it's between the Bucks and Raptors are going to be 1-2, so they most likely won't see each other until it's the conference finals if they both get that far. But if it gets to the scenario where the Bucks somehow drop to third and the Raptors get one and things change, or and then the vice versa, whatever it may be, are you more scared about the Raptors playing 76ers, or are you more scared about them playing the Bucks, or do you think it even frickin' matters who they play and when it comes playoff time?
I mean, personally, I'm terrified with them playing the Bucks. I think we match up fine against the 76ers.
And we've proven it this year.
Yeah, they haven't been a thorn in our side all season. As far as the Bucks go, and given we haven't had a healthy lineup, or air quotation, healthy lineup, when we've played the Bucks, but Lowry was allegedly doubtful and then wasn't and played last night, and
He wondered why he was doubtful.
things were fantastic. We'll see if he plays against the Bucks. That might be a bit of a difference maker if he plays and Kawhi plays. See how they match up. But right now, I would rather play the 76ers than anyone else, to be completely honest, in the East.
I knew the Bucks were going to be a talented basketball team, but to be ahead of the Celtics and even the 76ers is something that is a little bit of a surprise to me, but credit to those Bucks for sure. The Raptors, okay, they are in a position where they go to the trade deadline. This is going to transition us into the deadline of some trades that happened, okay? The Raptors, do you expect them to be busy? Is a question I've been getting. I want to ask you guys that as well. I'll say that I do see the Raptors being busy, but not maybe as busy as people think. I've been sitting here saying, imagine if the Raptors got Anthony Davis. Okay, that's me living in dreamland, as being someone who roots for the Raptors. But on the other side, maybe some health concerns for the team, some potential players, maybe that cause them to be active, or maybe they don't do anything. They've made their move in the offseason, bringing in Kawhi Leonard. Jamie, do you think it's going to be a busy day for the Raptors in the trade deadline, or do you think it's going to be a day where, Raptors fans may not get the day they want, and that's not a busy day?
Yeah, honestly, I think I don't think you can do anything at this point. I mean, he may. Who knows? I think if you do anything huge where you're giving away first-round picks or major pieces, I mean, that's if they were to trade for a top 10 guy or something along those lines, like if AD, whatever, you're basically saying we're planning to win this year, praying that this newly signed player and Kawhi will both re-up. Otherwise, you're walking away with the next 5 years of being the New York Knicks is what's going to happen. And I just don't think you can do that. I think if you made your major play in the offseason, acquiring Kawhi. Let the team gel. Let them play well. Let them be healthy together for a stretch of games going into the playoffs where everybody's used to playing. You're used to rotation, where DeLon Wright and Van Vliet are used to coming off the bench, playing less minutes, where Kyle's used to starting. Kyle and Kawhi are used to playing every minute together, stuff like that, right? So I don't think they can make a move. I'd be very surprised if they do. I'll be upset if they make a big move and get rid of a lot of guys because you're hemorrhaging everything at that point. And I'll say this. You make a big move and you win, things go away real quick. But if you don't win...
Even if you do win, I think the Raptors this year have a team that can win even without making moves. And obviously that goes by the roster. They could win with this basketball team without making moves. Now, if you brought in Anthony Davis, you're guaranteed getting rid of OG or Siakam, if not both. Okay, if not both. You're thinking about a couple picks in there at least. And if Kawhi resigns and Anthony Davis resigns, God, does Messiah look like a Messiah? Let's go with that. Okay, but like you just said, if they both walk, Kyle Lowry's there next year. That means if they both walk, Toronto's got to look at a rebuild side, and you just got rid of a big piece in Pascal Siakam. So, do you want to take that risk and go for it? I'd honestly be tempted, Jamie. To be honest, if I was Masai Ujiri, I'd be tempted to do it because I know if the Raptors got Anthony Davis, that they would probably win the NBA championship. I'm going that route, but I'm not saying I want them to do it, but I'd be almost tempted because the big name, right? You want to cement it, but again, he doesn't have to because he already has a good basketball team without mortgaging the future. He has prospects in the deep for a long time. He has all of his picks intact, essentially, and he has a team that can do it.
I don't see why he wouldn't be all in at this point. I mean, to touch on the free agency tomorrow, I think Valanciunas coming back is probably the acquisition that the team is going to have tomorrow.
That's a good point.
But you also have to look at the other end of the coin where if the Raptors aren't successful in the playoffs this year, is he the head of basketball operations and whatnot for the team? That's because they've made a run to the playoffs the last 2 years and been
the Raptor killer LeBron James.
And I'm getting flashbacks. I'm just realizing we basically had the same conversation when they signed Kawhi. We said if they win the championship, awesome, a lot of things forgiven. If they don't and Kawhi walks, now we're just talking about if Kawhi and AD both walk. So I'm getting deja vu now.
So Justin, you say go after Anthony Davis if it's there?
I mean, why not? If there's potential for, I don't know, if you like what you got and you think you can do it, if you think you're going to field that healthy roster that they've, I don't know, how many times has everyone played together this season?
30 maybe?
So if you field that healthy roster through the playoffs and everyone has time to gel beforehand, then maybe it's not an issue. But like I said, with Valanciunas coming back tomorrow, then maybe that helps. I don't know. But to start mortgaging stuff going forward, I mean, like, Siakam looks pretty good.
I think he's awesome. I don't think you can get rid of him. He's one of those young guys that you got to keep. I think he's just part of that core. Yeah. Gives you quality minutes. His improvement from last year is crazy.
Look at the 76ers, what they just gave up. Well, we're going to talk about that, so we're not going to dive into it yet, but 2 first-rounders and some other picks.
Yeah, from 2020 to 2021, they don't have a draft pick.
Yeah. Like, they also have had
both
years
rounds gone
where they've drafted Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid,
right.
So they can mortgage that. The Raptors have prospects, but are they as good as Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons? No.
And I'll argue the other side of opposite of what I'm saying is NBA draft picks outside of the top 10 in the first round are almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it in the long and the short of it.
You get some diamond in the roughs like Curry, you get different guys.
Yeah, but there's nobody in the NBA that drafts like Bill Belichick does in the NFL. No. Where you find these gems in the 3rd to 7th round, mostly because there isn't that round. But it's regardless. I mean, going 2 whole years without a single draft pick, that's tough. Because, I mean, even if you're
so tempted to do it, though. Imagine being Messiah on the other side saying, yeah, we have a team that can win now.
Here's the thing, though, is he would probably have to give up Because what did the Pelicans say? 4 first-round picks is their price right now?
I think they asked for Kuzma, Ingram, and 3 firsts.
Something
like
crazy.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So you're talking about 2 starters
That wouldn't happen.
and 3 years of picks.
I wouldn't do that.
So, which is and I remember what I saw now is somebody counterbalanced saying, okay, we'll give them another first-round pick to counter giving away the second starter, because at that point you're kind of causing more problems.
Do you think maybe the Pelicans look at it like this, though? I wonder if Mashai is going to use
the Pelicans want to
package.
get as much as possible right now.
Exactly. So I wonder if.
But they may break come like 2:30 tomorrow.
Exactly.
Because they realize that he's going to walk at the end of the season regardless, and they're getting nothing.
And they're going
for
to get
him.
something for him rather than nothing. Now they might call the Lakers and be like, "Fine, give us those 3/3."
Which is, I think, why the price is so high, right? You're talking, you start high and you haggle down. So.
Exactly, and that's why the Raptors will be like, "Hey, look, fine. This hurts a bit, but here's Pascal Siakam. Here's 2 firsts, and maybe a later second. Maybe you throw that in there. I think maybe Valanciunas, right? And they bring another 6th man in from there from New Orleans. So you look at him, Masai will be like, that's the approach he's gonna take. He's not gonna be aggressive until 2:30 when they need to trade him. That's how Masai is gonna be, I think, in my own honest opinion, and I think he can pull it off. And if he gets Anthony Davis, and you have a starting court with Anthony Davis, Kawhi, and Kyle out there together, and Serge Ibaka,
I don't know if he'll be able to keep Serge, though. I think Serge is gone.
You think they're moving Serge or Valanciunas? They're keeping one of Valanciunas or Serge. You can't move both.
I don't think Valanciunas has any value. So
no.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Serge is fair. So even if it's Valanciunas, like I said, Anthony Davis is on an organization right now where he hasn't been able to have good stars around him. The only star that came in was DeMarcus Cousins, and he didn't play. He got hurt.
Yeah,
and when he was there, they were good. And then they traded him. He's gone. Let him go. He's now in Golden State. So you give Anthony Davis, Kyle, Kawhi, I guarantee you, the Raptors will win 95% of the rest of their basketball games, and they'll march to the finals, to the East. No offense to the Bucks. 76ers will give them a little bit of the Bucks.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Yeah.
It's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Like I'll be.
But if they don't make the trade, I'm fine.
I'll be the first guy to come on, and if this happens, I'll come on the show tomorrow night. No, it's Hockey Talk at Northern. I'll be the first guy to say, "Holy fucking shit!" Like I was wrong.
And we spent an extra 6 minutes talking about it. It is a pipe dream.
And it also would be me being like, all right, I'm not taking my Raptors gear off the rest of the season. Let's go. Like, football season's over. I'm all in now.
Yeah, I'm all in. I just got to bring up the point. I want to hear what the listeners would think about just that urgency that Masai might have. That'll be Thursday. And by the time some of you may hear this upload, it might be today. So either way, make sure you check out that Raptors game. And make sure you keep an eye on the tickers. The Game Sports Show Facebook page will be uploading. Also, we'll be talking about various trades that may have happened on the hockey show tomorrow night. We'll keep you updated as best as we can, but make sure you keep on following those Raptors. This is the year, is the quote I've been going with since the start. Transitioning, fellas, we got a couple more points we want to get to. We have about 10-15 minutes tops left on the show before we have to conclude. NBA Trade Tracker, generic title that we're going to call it. Trades that have happened. Okay, we want to go notably, big trade that happened. The 76ers getting Tobias Harris and Boban Marjanovic and Mike Scott from the Clippers for Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, Mike Musala, 2020 first-round pick, 2021 first-round pick, which was from Miami, a 2021 second-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick. I like the space out of these picks.
So yeah,
I like those.
Incorrectly, the fact that I forgot that they had a pick from Miami, so they still have that.
They still have
that first round pick in 3 years, but
yeah, so they still have a couple picks in 3 road. You never know what can happen in 3 years down the road. They can get those picks back in a package deal. I like the futureness, the kind of 76ers spaced out. This Tobias Harris is a very talented basketball player, and it does show that they're all in to go. They're not all in like trying to get an Anthony Davis, but they're going to definitely be a Final Four team in their conference. I'll tell you that right now. 76ers, they've been trusting that process, and they're looking exciting. They're also very young and can afford all these guys together. So very good, smart trade, I feel, by the 76ers. Jamie, I'll get your kind of take on what you feel smart. Yeah or nay to the trade for 76ers? Do you think they may have overpaid? Because some people think that they did overpay a bit by those 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, and I was one of those. I mean, and now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, you still have your picks this year, and I mean Harris is going to step in and immediately start for you. I mean he's basically taking Chandler's spot, but yeah, I'm curious. I mean you get some center depth behind Joel. Yeah, I don't know. I mean this isn't. I kind of agree with your points on the 76ers from before. They can afford to to get rid of a bunch of picks. They're in win now mode. They're young. They're dominating. Trust the process, man. That's what it comes down to.
Love that.
So
that's hilarious.
And they're sitting in the 3 seed right now in the East, so they'll either be playing the Raps or the Bucks at this point. Come second round, assuming that they beat whoever the 6th seed is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm okay with the trade. I think if you're a 76ers fan, I think you're okay with it. It comes down to how well Harris plays, really, because he's really the only guy who's going to get massive minutes out of those 3.
You can see how he fits in with Simmons and Joel Embiid. That's the big thing, right? When you trade for a player, this can go for if Anthony Davis goes to LA, goes to Raptors, wherever he goes. Tobias Harris going to 76ers. How are you going to fit? That was a question for Kawhi. I think it was easy.
At that position.
Are you an upgrade, or are you going to gel chemistry-wise? Joel Embiid is. I don't mean he's been inconsistent, but he hasn't been able to get 37 points a night each night. But he's been consistent on the court. Ben Simmons, I'm a big fan of Ben Simmons. I think the kid's a stud. So I feel like when you're around those guys, that your chemistry just gels either way. Same with Kawhi Leonard.
It's a young, energetic team too, right?
Exactly.
So anybody who comes in there is gonna
really flourish.
Yeah, you bringing in some guys that have have been around a little bit isn't the worst thing. I mean, because you get some winning experience, playoff experience, veteran presence. But I mean, you're going to feed off that energy, I think, and I think the 76ers have a wicked culture right now.
And Tobias is young. He's only 26. Another young guy.
And that's why that's the upgrade over Chandler, right? Chandler's a little bit older. You're bringing in a younger guy at the same spot.
Now the Clippers think that they're going to be able to get Kawhi Leonard in the offseason. Here we go with all that stuff. But we're not talking about that, I guess. But anyways, 76ers are all in. Good move by 76ers. It's going to be busy. Now, some other trades that happened. Stanley Johnson goes over to the Bucks. Thon Maker goes over to the Pistons. In a trade, the Bucks are upgrading in terms of their depth. I feel and on the court they want to be able to keep up to like they have been all year with the Sixers, the Raps, and even the Celtics. Can't count out those Celtics. Yeah. You know, and also the Raptors were busy today as well by making a move. Malachi Richardson, and then Toronto's 2022 second-round pick and draft rights to Emir Prelzic. I'm trying to pronounce that correctly.
And Toronto got some cash money.
And got some cash money back. You know what this was? A salary dump for a move. They don't make a salary dump of this notion. They didn't have to make the move to salary dump. They made a move because they had to. That's my little prediction. He also made a move with the Suns today. Tyler Johnson and Wayne Ellington going over to Phoenix. And then the Miami Heat getting Ryan Anderson. Just to mention a couple of trades that have happened in the land of basketball. You know, you have a trade that I want to go back to that happened February 3rd. Nick Stelsticks, Wade Baldwin, 2021 second-round pick, a 2023 second-round pick, going to Trailblazers for Rodney Hood. You know, and another trade that happened today as well, or that happened with Jabari Parker.
Yeah.
And also with the Chicago Bulls there that happened. Otto Porter Jr. Wow, butchering some names here. Went over to the Bulls. And then the Wizards get Jabari Parker, Bobby Portis, and a 2023 second-round pick. Second-round picks are getting thrown around there as the Wizards, you know, making a move there. And I'm actually a fan of Jabari Parker. Obviously, I think there's a little bit of the gem in that trade, but the Bulls making some moves there as well. You know, you have the Rockets and the Cavaliers making a move as well with that I mentioned previous to that with Emon Shumpert and Nick Stauskas and Wade Baldwin, as I said, Brendan Knight and Marquis Chris, and a 2019 first-round pick. Those Houston's going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Rockets getting active and trying to make a move there as well. Wondering if James Harden's ever going to be on the move. I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen in Houston. Houston had such a good year last year, and this year it's just been a little bit of a struggle. All in all, those are the trades that quickly happened that I went through there in the NBA. You're expecting a busy day tomorrow. The trade deadline.
Keep your eye on it.
You keep an eye on it.
If you're listening to sports radio in the early afternoon, that'll be the time. It'll be busy, maybe. But we'll see.
Justin, any reaction with the NBA trade deadline? Are you excited? Are you certain it's going to be a busy day? And do you think Anthony Davis will get moved?
I mean, I'd like to see something happen with all this hoopla and dramatics we've had go on the last couple of weeks here. But
unless Anthony Davis goes, I'm going to be almost disappointed.
I think everyone's pretty well standing put until something big happens. And if nothing big happens...
Is Anthony going to go, you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think he's going?
I think this is too much of a mess.
So New Orleans will lose him for nothing?
There's a good chance. I mean, they've butchered this pretty bad so far. So
yeah, and they're asking way too much despite his talent. I feel way too high of a price. That's the big thing with the NBA that a lot of these people in the trade deadline, okay, you want these guys to get over the top, you got to pay, and some teams have paid. 76ers made a pretty big price tag today getting Tobias Harris. Jamie, we're going to move on from the basketball talk. We're going to get to the bonus roundtable discussion as we move on from the basketball segment and get into the roundtable with the one topic one topic and one shutout that I want to give out to, actually. Then the shutout will be connected to our Thursday edition of the Game Sports Show for Northern Superior Brewing Company. Good little tease. But you have some news with the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2019. We didn't tie this in really to our in the pocket segments. We're talking Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl reaction.
We didn't forget, I promise.
We definitely didn't forget. We don't forget anything on this show.
Planned it.
But one thing that I almost forgot is that I thought I was going to spearhead this, but I'm passing it off to you. That's what I'm doing. So spearhead this and take us off with the Hall of Fame class of 2019.
Yeah, well, I mean, NFL Honors was on Saturday, so we should talk about some of the award winners, and I know Dave's pulling that up right now just to get names down perfect for us. But nice thing that the NFL Honors has been doing, I mean, the fact that they're the night before the Super Bowl and they do the Hall of Fame class introduction, then it's kind of nice. It really ties the weekend together, I think. But it was a big class for DBs. Champ Bailey, Ty Law, and Ed Reed all went in. Ed Reed, first ballot. You also had Pat Bolin and Gil Brandt went in as contributors. Tight end Tony Gonzalez, center Kevin Mawai, and safety Johnny Robinson. I mean, pretty big class. There's there's always snubs, and I mean, things are going to happen, but I mean, for 3 DBs to go in the same class is huge. When a couple years ago, I think 2 receivers, I think Marvin Harrison and Randy Moss both went in the same year, and I was like, whoa, it's big for 2 guys at the same position to go. So for 3 to go, I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that all 3 of those guys are complete Hall of Famers. Champ Bailey was like the shutdown corner for 5 straight years with Denver, pretty much, and he was awesome with Washington right before that. Ty Law, all he did was get interceptions in Super Bowls, part of the 3 over 4 for New England in the early 2000s. And then Ed Reed, I mean, all you need is to hear ask Bill Belichick who the best defensive back he's ever coached against, and he'll say Ed Reed every single time. When you say best defensive player, he always goes Lawrence Taylor, but I mean, pretty big class. Those guys headlined it. Tony Gonzalez, I mean, he was the best receiving tight end the league had ever seen in his day, so he was the only reason that Kansas City was even notable for a few years. But no, I thought it was pretty good class this year. I mean, I'm excited for those guys. It's watching all the Hall of Fame festivities that happen in Canton, and it obviously ramps up, and it isn't until the start of August, but it's nice for these guys to know, and come tomorrow, everybody will be speculating about the 2020 class.
Now, Jamie mentioned the awards, as yours truly does have the awards all set, ready to lock and load. NFL MVP, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs.
No surprise.
No surprise, actually won by a landslide over Drew Brees in terms of the voting. Offensive Player of the Year, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald of the Rams. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley with the Giants. Saquon, wow. Saquon, love that. Making up names. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Darius Leonard from the Colts.
There you go, Jess.
Big presence on that Colts.
If it wasn't, it was going to be a disaster.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Also a lock.
David McCaig. I'm just kidding. Andrew Luck. The Colts, definitely a lock, for sure, well deserved. Can't believe I pronounced Barkley's first name wrong. I'm just going to call him Barkley from now on, so I never do that again. Coach of the Year,
Matt Nagy
This
from
was
the
a
Bears.
toss-up. There's about
Not
4
the
or 5
voting.
guys.
There was, but the voting, like Nagy,
I agreed with
24, 10, 8, 5, 2, and 1 were all the votes between Nagy, Lynn, Rack, Reed, Carroll, and Peyton. Yeah. So Nagy won 24. You had the 14 more than the second place.
Who was second?
Lynn.
Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn from the Chargers. Yeah.
I do too.
I've watched a couple interviews with him.
Did you watch
his Super Bowl commercials?
I was falling, man. That got me so good.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
That
if anybody's a Hard Knocks fan, which I am, I'm a huge Hard Knocks fan. When they arguably the 2010 Jets Hard Knocks is one of the best of all time, just from Rex Ryan. The Texan one is very good. Anthony Lynn's the running back coach for the Jets at that time, and he's awesome. They go kind of in depth, and that's when they had Sean Green and LaDainian Tomlinson as running backs on that team. So if you've never seen it, I mean, it's worth looking up and streaming. But yeah, Anthony Lynn, I think he's doing it right. It's kind of funny. You start to see these guys, either they're super offensive minded guy who's a great play caller and they become a head coach, or it's kind of the guys that have been positional coaches for a long time that it's more about leadership and being able to control everything off the field, because they know they got to bring in a guy to run the offense, run the defense, and then you can just focus on running the team. And he was one of those guys, and that's why I'm kind of curious to see, like Cliff Kingsbury, for example, getting hired in Arizona. I don't think it's going to work. It's just one of those things. He's a coordinator and a Big 12 offensive coordinator, so I mean, doesn't really say a ton.
Continue with the awards. Assistant Coach of the Year, Vic Fangio. You get that right there? You got that. The Bears. FedEx Air Player of the Year. Got all the awards here. Then we go through. Patrick Mahomes.
Voted awards.
FedEx Ground Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley from the Giants.
Fan voted.
Bridgestone Clutch Performance Play of the Year, Miami Miracle, which is no surprise to me. GMC Never Say Never Moment of the Year, Aaron Rodgers, comeback win over the Bears. Game Changer Award, presented by Gillette, Shaquem Griffin from the Seahawks. Built for Tough Offensive Line of the Year.
Wait. How does he win that? When he's in the Gillette marketing campaign.
That's why. It's a great commercial. You can't say it's not.
Yeah, but that's a little fishy.
It's a fake award. Let's be real.
It's like Gary Bettman.
It's a fake
going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Built for Tough Offensive Line of the Year, Rams Offensive Line. Walter Payton Man of the Year, Chris Long with the Eagles.
I would beg to differ on the offensive line one as well.
I know you would. Salutes to Service Award, Ben Garland from the Falcons. Falcons getting a little bit of a win there, I guess. The Deacon Jones Award, Aaron Donald from the Rams. Art Rooney Award, Drew Brees from the Saints. Don Shula NFL High School Coach of the Year Award.
Don Shula.
Close enough.
Dave, you're killing
Gabe
us.
Infante, St. Joseph Prep, Philadelphia. And Celebration of the Year, which I liked. I actually didn't really see the celebration before. I just looked at it up while I was announcing this. The Seahawks. Love it.
Which Sully?
I can't really describe it. So
how hard is it to describe?
You have it's very coordinated dance in the end zone.
It's their boy band.
It's a boy band celebration. Sure. There you go.
Russell Wilson's taking pictures.
Yes, I like that. That is an awesome one. So those have been the entire years. I only butchered 2 names there, Jamie, if you want to get. Yeah, well.
You butchered Don Shula.
Oh, it's okay.
Football royalty.
Holy cow.
I'm not as bad as Barkley.
From the Steelers,
I'm not as bad as Barkley pronouncing Jonas Valanciunas. Okay, never that guy has
Charles
the
Barkley
worst.
we're talking about.
Yes, not Dave McCaig. I didn't say
or
that.
Saquon Barkley, which you also butchered his
okay.
name.
Or Michelle Sony one time, as I said earlier this year.
Yeah,
Michelle Sony. Sony PlayStation Xbox. We have fun. Now, those have been the awards. Are you surprised with any of the awards that have been given out? Quick roundtable chat about that before we get to the last point and conclude tonight's show, fellas. Justin, I'll start with you. Any surprises you feel with the awards? I know you brought up a couple surprises there, but any kind of final thoughts?
With the awards that are real and matter, I'm pretty satisfied with them. And you can't really argue Barkley as Rookie of the Year. I wanted to put Quentin Nelson in there, but you can't have everyone on the Colts there. Okay. And it's few.
It's so hard for an offensive
few
lineman.
and far between that an offensive lineman would get that kind of accolade. So,
and that's not what O-line were about, man.
It's
you're
not
never
at all.
Get an award.
It's not at all. Luck's there, and that's a testament to how well that offensive line played. So,
Jamie, final thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I don't always agree with the fact that MVP can also win Offensive or Defensive Player of the Year. I think 'cause when you're the MVP, everybody knows that. I mean, I get it's a voted thing, but realistically, I think Gurley probably would have got Offensive Player of the Year if that's how the voting didn't count. But other than that, I mean, I thought they nailed it. Chris Long as Walter Payton Man of the Year. I mean, all the players. That's the award that those guys are really working towards.
I like the presentation at the beginning of the Super Bowl.
No, I missed that actually.
Everyone's there in suit and tie and dressed all nice. Marshawn's standing there with a toque and a backpack.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the best.
Looking like he's going to a bush
eating
party.
Skittles. Like,
Yeah, I love that. Just so hood.
No comment.
Straight up from Oakland, that guy. But no, I mean, Chris Long, well deserved. I mean, the guy does a ton for charity. He's a guy who does it right, I think, in my opinion. I mean, you make so many millions of dollars that, and they have such a platform to make change, and I think he's doing it the right way. Him and Malcolm Jenkins, his teammate, are both on the forefront. I think the whole Philadelphia Eagles team they've kind of inspired a lot of change in that community, and no, I mean, happy for him. I mean, he goes into a long line of Walter Payton Man of the Year award winners.
Kind of was a little surprised as I almost drop a plate here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill about Todd Gurley, but I guess, at the end of the day, when it comes to Offensive Player of the Year, Patrick Mahomes getting away with that is probably a good argument to say that over Todd Gurley, but that was one actually I thought that Todd might have gotten. So the final thing, fellas, the final point I want to bring up that Justin, you and I and Dan are going to talk about tomorrow in Northern, but I kind of want to jump in. Bob Cole did his last regular season game for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight in 50 years with announcing Toronto games, and obviously a legendary voice. Myself, legendary voice, but I think a lot of legendary voices that we hear in our age is definitely Jim Houston as well that would stick up there, and obviously friend and listener of the show, Joe Bowen, being especially around the Toronto Maple Leaf realm, but Cole has definitely been a big part in the Toronto Maple Leafs faithful, and even the Ottawa Senators gave them a little ovation today in a little tribute video, so I want to give a shout out to that saying, great work. Thumbs up all around to that. That's class act, and we've seen a lot of class acts actually in the Toronto organization of late, with Mitch Marner giving a stick to the child that had cancer, so, and then obviously the tribute that I brought up yesterday on Icebreakers, the tribute with the soldier returning from Iraq surprising his wife and kid. Toronto's been a pretty class act there with that organization. I love seeing that kind of stuff, and the fans do appreciate when they do that. It kind of sends a little tear in the eye. I'll say that. Little tear in the eye. But with Cole, it seems like with all these older ones moving on, Cole was doing games when my dad was younger, so that's amazing to see. So, congratulations to Cole there. It's Bob Cole is legend, absolute legend, right? So, fellas, we're going to talk more about that. Well, me and Justin are, and Dane are going to talk about that more on tomorrow from Northern Superior. And if Anthony Davis does go to the Raptors tomorrow,
I'll be walking. I'll unibrow myself. I'll walk in. It'll be great radio content.
Okay, we'll take a picture and put it on the Instagram page.
There we go.
Jamie wants to thank you for coming on by here tonight, my friend. We're going to be off next week. We'll be back the following week here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, which will be February the 20th.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Get a scheduled week off here, which is kind of nice. Don't have to worry about it. And, I mean, another wild NFL season. Didn't end, the Super Bowl game didn't live up to the hype of the season and the crazy points that put up, and I get it, but people still come back. I don't think anybody said I'm quitting the NFL after that Super Bowl game, so looking forward to it. And we'll get into the summer here. You got the draft, combine,
local football,
and then my favorite part, we get to start talking SaberCats. Hopefully Matt can come on, and I'm looking forward. We can probably get some players in the preseason this year. And start talking, start getting the hype train rolling. We're
get a player a week will be the plan this year.
That'd be the plan. Yeah,
get a player a week, and that will be the plan that we'll have covering SaberCats and obviously covering some Steelers as well. So
listen up in the next coming weeks.
If you haven't followed the page yet, make sure you follow it because we give away some great prizes here on the show. I don't know if anyone realizes that. Justin, I'll see you tomorrow night, sir.
Thanks for coming by tonight. I will be there tomorrow as long as we don't get snowed out. We're supposed to get another 25 centimeters of this goddamn bullshit.
I like that. That's harsh, and I like that. I don't like the snow. I mean, I like the language because that's how I feel. That's almost how I feel about half the drivers sometimes in the city. No offense to anyone, but I feel like when it comes to driving, I get a lot of road rage in this town, and the weather does not help that situation. That's another conversation for a show that's not about sports. You've been listening to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, live from Sportscenter Bar and Grill for its famous 75-cent wing nights. Obviously, the Sault's best sports bar, 3rd year in a row. If you haven't got that news, you've been living under a rock. Great time here at SportsCenter all the time. Great food, great beverages available, beautiful staff, especially with Alicia White tonight.
Easy.
And Frank LaCour, he's a beautiful guy as well. He's a beautiful guy inside. Easy. Even though he's a Hab fan, give him a little bit of credit. Toronto gets one show this weekend. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well for Northern Spear Brewing Company. We've been listening to the show. We talked In the Pocket. We talked NBA at length. And we've talked some more football news along with some shout out to Bob Cole tomorrow. We're talking about a lot of local hockey updates and upcoming games there to recap a lot from the Tuesday show, along with some NHL updates. A lot of rumors flying around the National Hockey League. Let me tell you, as the trade deadline nears there, so we're going to get into that as well. And make sure, as I mentioned, you like the Facebook page. You can be like Brian Greco and win a great prize courtesy of the Game Sports Show. Now, until tomorrow, from Northern Superior Brewing Company, stay McCaig sign off. Keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.